welcome back. I know I haven't recorded a video in like a year and a half. um, I've been swamped at school, ever since I started varsity. Go bird, go rough, go difficult. School is throwing hands. So now it's my second year, second semester. I feel like I can manage my time better now to a point where I can start recording again. And yeah, I'm gonna do my best to maintain this standard of, uploading every Sunday like I used to. But anyway, let's get straight to the point. So this week I'm doing a book review on Healing Harper. When I say listen to me carefully, hear me proper, and hear me clear. Everyone on God's green earth, whether you're a BTS fan, whether you hate BTS, you don't like BTS, I don't give a damn. I don't care a damn. You better read this book. Anyway, okay, let's just get into it. Okay. So, this story, AMBW as well, um, it's a Jungi fanfic, but Taehyung is in it as well. He's just Jungi's friend, right? So in this one, Jungi is a surgeon, and then there's this woman called Harper. She lives next door to him, right? Surgeons, they get a lot of money, but he decided to live like a basic life. Like, he's not an extravagant man. As long as he's got what he needs, that's all he cares about. Does that not sound like Jungi in real life anyway? Mm. So, okay, cool. Harper is his next door neighbor. Harper, should I give the backstory now? Might as well. So she is a black woman. She's 20. When the story starts, I think she's like 21. No, I'm lying. She's 20 something. Her and Yoongi are only like 5 years apart, I think. 5, 6 years apart, something like that. At the beginning of the story, she's quite young, though. She's quite young. And she's a single mom. She's got her son, Onyx. Um, and she stays at this apartment building. Um, she was in an abusive relationship. You read about the little bastard later on, but she was in an abusive relationship and she fell pregnant, and he still beat her because men obviously don't care about that. Um, and then she realized one day, I think he like choked her till she passed out, and he didn't even feed her. He choked her till she passed out, and then when she woke up and she came to, she was like, "Okay, this man's gonna kill me, and I've got a baby, so no, this is not gonna happen." And he isolated her from her family and her friends. She doesn't have any more friends. She doesn't talk to her family anymore, and she's afraid to like go back to her family because she feels ashamed and everything. Um, so she ran away that day when he choked her and she came to. She woke up the next day like she's going to work. When she got there, she told her boss what's been going on. Her boss took her to the hospital because she said she didn't feel the baby move. And they were like, "No, the baby's still fine. Don't worry about that." And then the boss got her to a shelter, and then that is a shelter for like abused women and everything. And then she stayed there throughout her entire pregnancy, and then the women, they helped her apply for the Department of Social Services. This is happening, this entire story is based in the States. The Department of Social Services ended up helping her, and then they got her the apartment and a car. And then I think they only stopped funding her after Onyx has turned one, or I don't know the terms and conditions that apply. Anyway, so she stays at the apartment. That is the apartment that they selected for her, and Jung is her next door neighbor. Jung is a surgeon, as I've already said. Um, Now Onyx, he had some sort of an illness. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it irritated him to a point where he always used to cry, and he cried every night. And he gets overstimulated easily, which I can relate to. He gets overstimulated easily, so him crying is noisy. So he's also crying because of the pain he's going through, but also because it's noisy, which is his own crying, but he doesn't know that because he's a baby. So, yay, good rough, good bird. And then he's always crying in the AMs. Always. To a point where it's normal at this point. But Harper feels absolutely horrible inside. She believes that her neighbors hate her. She believes Yoongi hates her. She's like, he probably, like, apparently they see each other, like, in the hallway and whatnot, and she would just make, like, quick eye contact and be like, and then she'd, like, go into her apartment because she'd be like, he probably hates me. He wants nothing to do with me because my baby's always crying when he's sleeping, and it's bad. Okay. Then, that's the only interaction that they've ever had until what I'm about to explain. And then one day, Onyx is not crying. And she's worried. She's like, Onyx is always crying. And all of a sudden, now he's not crying? There's something wrong. There's something wrong. So she takes him to the hospital. And then that's when she finds out what was originally wrong with him and what made him cry from the get-go. The pediatrician, which is Taehyung, is the one who ends up helping her. And then the nurse, Haley. I love and adore Haley. Oh my god. Mwah. So Taehyung is the one who ends up helping her and, explaining the whole situation to her. And then Yoongi wanted to come see Taehyung, I guess, or something like that, because then Yoongi comes through. He works at the same hospital. And then they see each other, Yoongi and Harper, they see each other. And then he's like, oh, after this you're going home? And then she's like, yeah, I am. And then he's like, okay, we'll all go together then, because I'm also going home. I just knocked off. And she's like, okay. And then they go back home together. They get home. When they get home, fine, she gives Onyx the medicine. Yoongi goes to his apartment, yada, 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 yada. And then the same night, Onyx cries again. And now she's like, but we know what the problem is, and I gave him the medicine. I don't know what the problem is. And then Yoongi this time actually wakes up. I think it was like at 2 a.m. He woke up and he went to go knock at her door. And now she's like, oh my god. Oh my god, this man is gonna file a noise complaint on me, and I'm gonna get kicked out, and then I'm gonna be homeless with my baby, and then everyone's gonna hate me, and no one likes me anyway. So, like, it was bad. She overthinks a lot. She overthinks a lot. And then Yoongi knocks at the door, and she's like, shit, he hates me. Fine. And then she opens the door, and it even explains, like, the guilty expression that she had. And then Yoongi just stands there, and he just does this to indicate, give me the baby. And he walks into the house, and he just does this, like, no hi, how are you, how's your day, have you slept at all, you look like shit, nothing like that. He was just like, hand me the child. And in her head she was like, he's a doctor, he probably knows way more than me anyway. So she hands Onyx to Yoongi, and then Yoongi walks into the apartment, and then he's like, already just being in Yoongi's arms, Onyx is slowly starting to, calm down. I mean, who wouldn't in that man's arms? Come on. Anyway, so he asks her, and he's like, did you give him the medicine? And she's like, yeah, I did. And he's still not crying. He still keeps crying. And he's like, okay, where's the medicine? And she shows him, like, it's in the fridge. And then he's like, okay. And he takes the medicine and he feeds it to Onyx, and Onyx calms down. And then he goes into the living room, and he lays on the couch, and he literally lays on the couch, like, sleeping. And he puts Onyx on his chest, and then he slowly starts tapping Onyx's back. And Harper's just like, thank you so, so much, but you don't have to do this. I'm sorry again for waking you up or anything. And Jung is just like, you need sleep, I need sleep, Onyx needs sleep, we all need sleep. And if this is what keeps him asleep, my apartment is next door. You know where I work, you know my name, you can go take my apartment keys. I'm not gonna run away with your child. Let's just all go to sleep, okay? And he just laid there. He was just like, this is not up for discussion. And he just laid there. Anyway, then, okay, fine. That's how they end up getting closer. He, oh, yeah, he would come sometimes and greet her and whatnot. And then one time they go out, Harper goes out. And as I said, Onyx gets overstimulated very easily with his senses and everything. So one time, Harper really needs to go grocery shopping. So she goes out grocery shopping, and then at some point she stops because she wanted something to eat. So she stops at this like cafe to order something for herself. And then she's sitting there, and then I think Onyx started crying or something like that. And Yoongi, it was Yoongi Tae and Haley, right? They weren't sitting too far off, and I'm pretty sure Yoongi was like, I know those cries in my sleep because they have woken me up. And he turned around and he saw them, and he went to them, and then Harper saw him. She was like, oh flip, I really am disturbing this man everywhere. Like I just can't find peace when it comes to anything like this. And then fine, he sits down with them and he calms down Onyx. I swear, Onyx is a little demon because every single time he's in Yoongi's arms, he calms down. Satan, but like I don't blame him because same. Anywho, um, and then he calms Onyx down, and he starts talking to Harper, and they're talking and whatever. And then some old ass hag, okay, she wasn't old, but some stupid ass comes up to them, and she's like, "Sorry, it's just." This is a cafe, and if you know that your baby makes noise, then you shouldn't bring him to a public place like this. It's really disturbing the other people in the cafe, including myself. And obviously Harper feels absolutely horrible. But like this is an infant. That's how they communicate, Stacy. Sit your black flat ass down. Nonsense. Yeah, man. You'd swear it was the white people who were whipped because they've got absolutely no ass. But anyway, what was I saying? Anyway, right. And then Yoongi turns around and he looks at her and he's like, well, this is a family friendly cafe. If they really didn't want babies or infants in this place, then they wouldn't have an infant's menu on the menu. So until I hear the owner himself kick us out, which I'm going to sue after that, because there's infant's menu on the menu, then I'm gonna skedaddle. But until then, if you've got a problem with it, sweetie, you know exactly where the door is. You can exit. And I was like, tell them you're gay. Tell them. Fine. Okay, and then that happens. And then there's this girl named Kyra. She absolutely just keeps inserting herself in Yoongi's life, even though she's not wanted in Yoongi's life. She just keeps her ugly self into it. Okay, fine. Her and Yoongi a while before the present moment of that I'm talking about in the story. I think a year ago, or a year before that, or something like that, they went out on a date. They did not click. She clicked with him, he didn't click with her. And he expressed to her, like, after the second date, I think, that, okay, you know what? I'm not really feeling you, and I don't want to waste your time. So I'm just gonna tell you that this is clearly not going to work. I don't want to waste your time, and I've got a lot on my plate with my work, working hours, yada yada yada. And she's a nurse at the hospital, right? She was salty about it, and now she would always be making comments like, oh my god, don't you have a personal life, don't you have a private life, you just always, you live, eat and breathe this hospital. So now at this cafe, she sees Yoongi sitting with this woman with a baby in his arms, and she's thinking, Yoongi has a child? When did this happen? Why didn't anybody tell me? What the hell? Cool. And then, okay, fine, that part passes. And Yoongi and Harper start spending more time together, and then it gets to a point where Harper says that she's looking for a job, and Yoongi tells her, "Would you know they've got a receptionist job open at the hospital, so you can always go check that." And she applies, she gets the job. She wanted to look for a daycare, but none of the ones in the area accepted payment from the Department of Social Services, and the ones that did were too far. So she was like, okay, I go to work, and then what? Now, where's Onyx gonna go? And then Jung is like, okay, let me see your work schedule. And she shows him, and then he's like, oh, no, it's fine. When you're at work, I'm at home. And when you're at home, I'm at work. So I'll look after Onyx until you can get enough money to take him to a proper daycare. And she's like, no, I've already troubled you so much. And he's like, but I like Onyx. So we'll sit and watch Sesame Street and take naps. That sounds like heaven to me, actually. So I don't mind. Fine, he starts looking after Onyx. And it was even to a point where one time he told her, he was like, okay, I actually need to go run errands. Like, I've got no food in my house. Can I take Onyx with me? And she was like, yeah, it's fine. It's okay. I'm already inconveniencing you. So go ahead. As long as you've got whatever you need to take, like maybe his milk or his bottle of water or whatever. And then they went to the store, and Yungin was obviously holding Onyx while shopping and everything. And this lady approaches Yungin and is like, oh my god, your baby's so cute. He's so adorable. Oh, man. And Yungi was like, thanks. And then he was about to correct her and be like, but he's not my. She's already walked away. Then he moves from that aisle and he goes to like the butcher section, and then he gets there and he's ordering. And I think it was a lady, and she was like, oh my god, your son is so cute. And then she called her dad and was like, dad, come see. And then the father came and was like, oh my god, such a cute family. It's so hard to see dads be dads these days. Mostly it's the mother with the child. Oh my god, that's so cute. And Yungi this time realized that he didn't want to correct them. He wanted them to automatically assume that Onyx was his. He liked that, which was really cute. Cool. Then they start dating. Okay, cool. Then they start dating. Harper and Yoongi are officially dating. And she tells Yoongi about her past, yada yada. He gets mad, but he's like, you know what? His loss is my gain, because if you didn't leave his ass, then you and I wouldn't be together. So I thank him for being a douchebag, because at least I got to you. And the only thing that came out of that relationship that was good was Onyx. So I guess I'll thank him for that too. I guess. Whatever the fuck. And then Kyra finds out that they're dating. And she's salty. She's saltier than sea salt itself. She was salty. She was like, oh my god, I thought you said you didn't have time for a private life. And then Jung is like, I make time for those who deserve it. And I was like, ooh. Louder for the people in the back, please. And then she wrote an email. Kyra wrote an email to the directors of the hospital, and she was like, a breach of contract has been made because there are two employees who are dating. And then Yoongi and Harper were called into the office, and both of those directors are Yoongi's friends. They called them to the office. Harper's panicking. She's thinking, what the hell? I didn't even... What the hell is going on? And then, the reason how they actually found out that they were dating is that Yoongi always wore this necklace, and it had like a compass on it, right? And ever since they've known Yoongi, he's been working at that hospital for years. Ever since they've known him, they've never seen him without that necklace. He's always wearing this necklace all the time. It's basically attached to him. It's part of his skin at this point, right? And then one day Yoongi's not wearing it, but Harper's wearing it. And they're thinking, what the hell? And he basically proposed at this point if he's giving her that necklace. So that's how they ended up finding out that they were dating. She writes an email with it, there's a breach of contract, yada, yada, yada. And then Harper and Yumi get called to the office, and they get sat down, and they're like, okay, somebody who wants to stay anonymous has told us that, um, excuse me, that the two of you are dating. And Yumi's like, yeah, we are. The point. And then they're like, no, it's just, that's a breach of contract. And he's like, no, it's not. Last time I checked, if we're all speaking of the same contract, unless a new one was written and I was not informed, if we are all speaking of the same contract, then y'all should know what it needs to be with somebody who's benefiting. I'm not Harper's boss. We don't even work in the same unit. So what do you mean? If I was her boss, then yes, it's wrong because I can give her benefits. But I'm not her boss. We are just colleagues. We just happen to work in the same hospital. Mara, she's not my employee. I don't write her paycheck. So, so where's the breach? And then they think about it and they're like, oh yeah, you're right. And he's like, thank you. What the fuck was I called here for? Like, wasted this card, man. Like, time is money. Anyway, yeah. There's so much more to the story. I'm gonna carry on with that in another video because I feel like already I've stretched this for far too long. So I'm gonna be making a part 2. I will put the link for it in the description box. But I hope you guys have a nice day, and if you weren't, I hope that this made you feel a bit better. Bye.